Hello, welcome to the weekend video. I'm sorry I didn't get around to it last night or last week, but that's just how life goes. This is, well, how should I start this? This is Zenda, and you think I've done this 1,000 times now. You think I should know how to do this. I'm going to go through the markets and pull apart the week's action and see where I think we're going. Whether it's correct or not, time will tell. And I just wanted to say that next week I'm going to take a few days off, but I'll explain that tonight's update. Going away, rent a little house, and forget about markets for 3 nights. I'll be back on Thursday, so I won't forget the whole week. Okay, with that done, let's move into what I think we're playing with here. Okay, so there's 2 main counts in rather than 3. There's 2 main counts in euro dollar right now. My favorite one is the triangle here, but that's it is let's say unresolved at this moment in time. The longer term downtrend, despite the fact that we've had this a few spikes to the upside in the last few months, 3 or 4 months, the longer term downtrend is still pretty much intact. So the older wave count can still be applied here, although it's not favorable. Okay, so what are we working with here? Well, I'm working with a long triangle. So A wave up, B wave down into the recent low back in March, C wave up, D and E. So a long, drawn out triangle B wave. Now the high of wave A is up at 125.60. I don't think we get there, but that does allow a lot of headroom for wave C to extend into a larger 3-wave pattern. Given the fact that we've already topped out and are dropping in daily RSI, let's go into the 4-hour. You can see that we've already created a series of lower highs in 4-hour momentum. I do think we're probably closer to the end here than we are to any acceleration. I think we have a clear 3-wave pattern. We have an A wave up, we have a triangle B wave, so we have A, B, C, D, and E in wave B, and then we pretty much have 5 waves up, done, if not done yet, close to being done in wave C. So that'll be wave 1, 2, 3, another triangle 4th wave, and then wave 5. Let's get into the hourly chart here. You can see here that's the triangle 4th wave. Wave 1, expanded flat 2, wave 3. Wave 3 isn't, it's not neat, but it does count. So we'll see. We have a 3-wave decline yesterday. We were calling that a 4th wave, and now we're rallying again this morning slightly anyway. We're spiking higher this morning or this afternoon. Yeah, so you would expect if this trend channel was to be filled, this Elliott channel, so wave 2 to 4 extended from wave 3, so we've got possibly somewhere up to around 115.50 to fill out a 5-wave rally. We have resistance here at 114.94, so that's way back here in 9th March. That was the high of 9th March. It's labeled differently there, so don't worry about that. That would be wave B here. So that's obviously the most significant short-term resistance, or near closest resistance, let's say. And I figure if we get a spike above that and any sort of weakness after that should indicate that we have topped out in wave C of C. Okay, so next week we'd look for that top to come, and we would look for an initial move down. We have a 4th wave of a cluster of kind of swing highs in around this. We have a 4th wave low, 113.70. We have a wave 1 high, 113.45, and we have a wave 3 high right at 114.20. So at 114.20 to 113.40 level, 80 pips there. that would form a kind of, let's say, a shoulder of support, and if we broke down through that, that would be the first signal that we have a top in place. But let's see if we can finish this out over the next couple of days in wave 505 of C of C. Okay, let's move on to cable. Again, another triangle with the possibility that we're done. Possibility, maybe not probability just yet. We either have wave D done at the recent low and we're working on wave E, which is shown here, or we have a longer wave D and we will work on a lower wave E to come. And that lower wave E would probably sit within this trend channel again. So the short-term pattern is not, let's say, it's not ideal right now. We seem to be heading lower again today. We were looking for some a continuation of that drop. We seem to be heading lower as the US is starting to wake up. So I would say that maybe there's a running flat wave B here. I was kind of eyeing the possibility that there might be a triangle wave B. So that would be wave A down and wave A, B, C, D, and E. But it seems to favor a running flat right now, and maybe we're pushing lower into wave C right now. So if we are breaking into wave C, well, then we should break that wave A low. So that'll be 124.80. We should slice through that today. So let's see if that happens. And if we can form 3 waves down, that would give us a triple combination wave D, and then we work on wave E late next week. Okay, so the other way of viewing this is we already have wave D in place, and we already have let's say a wave E coming in at that 126.68 level. I don't favor that right now because the pattern of the high just doesn't seem very impulsive to the downside yet. Okay, let's see if we can at least work on completing wave D next week, and that would involve a drop into 122.50 at a minimum. Okay, let's move on. Dollar yen. I have been looking for, this is a 4-hour dollar yen chart. I've been looking for this would now be the alternate account, but I had, let's say, been looking for this larger wave E to close out with, let's say, within that trend channel there, somewhere around the 105 or 104.50 level. On the short-term chart, you'll see that I'm pointing to a wave E most likely been in already. And that would be because we have 5-wave move up off the low in place, and 3 waves down. Now, it's still most are quite like the like euro dollar. I'm tripping over my tongue there. Quite like euro dollar. The pattern doesn't seem completely finished just yet. It does not seem like we are at a total inflection point like the short-term pattern might suggest, but that doesn't mean that we're not. I'm just kind of being a little bit wary of how I approach this, because I had been expecting a larger wave C down and like a filling of this trend channel more completely. So that would have brought us down to 104.50 or 104 on the nose somewhere to complete that. If we were to bring up that trend line, we'd have somewhere around, even 103.70. So that's not out the window just yet. Let's get into the short-term chart here. You can see here that I've got a possible B wave high instead of wave 1 there, and maybe a further kind of decline into a C wave. But for the moment, as long as we have this upward-facing trend channel still in play, then the more bullish outlook may well be more fitting. But just to note that I am really between two stools here, and I can't point exactly. I can't put my finger on whether we have changed or whether we have turned to the upside just yet. Um, I'm treating it as such in the short term, but we need confirmation of that. And that confirmation, I think, would come with a more impulsive move to the upside. Um, Most definitely, if we broke above 109.80, but 110, let's say, that would definitely do it. But that'll be a ways ahead now, I think, at the moment. Initially, if we pushed up towards that upper trend channel line in 5 waves, then I'd be more happy than not, let's say, to call it that. Um, okay, let's see for next week if we can start pushing up again, and we do want to see those two initial supports, 106.63 and 106.07 on the lower end to hold. If 106.07 breaks, then we are reverting to that alternate count. Okay, stock market. Do I even need to go into this? It's just defied me so much that you tend to kind of lose faith in yourself and in your own capabilities to do this. But I cannot see any other way out of this. I mean, the biggest, let's say, contributing factor psychologically to I'm going to open a file here. But the biggest contributing factor psychologically to the rally of late has been this idea that we are, in fact, rallying off the back of a declining virus. And the reason in the beginning that the market declined was, the prevalence of this virus, and this virus was was causing the crash. But I just want to show you something here. This is the daily deaths in the US, which is ticking upwards again, by the way. But the daily deaths in the US almost line up perfectly with the or the beginning of the let's say the counting of these deaths in the US almost lines up perfectly with the low on the 23rd of March. I think the first deaths were being recorded around the 17th and 18th of March. Um, so to attribute, let's say, the crash off the all-time high to the death load of this virus is utterly false. Um, the only thing that you could logically do would be to contribute the rally off the low, this historic rally in in um, in risk assets, the stock market being the most public one, let's say. The So the rally in the stock market can be legitimately attributed to the rising death rate. And now, I know that sounds completely and utterly like stupid, okay? And I will agree 100% with you there that this is idiotic. But the data does not back up the kind of general consensus that we had a crash based on a virus, and we had a rally based on the idea that the virus was declining. It's utterly backwards. It's what I would call ass backwards. Okay. What actually happened was we had a crash of historic all-time highs based on nothing, and we have a historic stock market rally based on humongous death load caused by this virus, which is horrible, obviously horrible. So I don't think the two data sets fit together at all whatsoever. Okay, so that's basically what I want you to take away from this. These are particularly uncorrelated events, and or negatively, let's say, they have a -1 correlation in these two events. Now I'm going to leave that behind. So I just had to kind of bring that up because I've just heard the story so often that the virus is declining, and there's a what you call it, a vaccine coming, which there isn't, by the way, because there never will be a vaccine for this virus because it's a coronavirus, which means that it mutates so often that you cannot keep up with it. It's the same reason why we have a flu every year. or flu outbreak every year. But my take on this has always been is that we topped out at an all-time high at a completing pattern, and the next logical move was to the downside, and the next logical move happened. And my take at the lows in March was that we would have a huge rally. First, I thought it would be a fourth wave rally, and then I moved on to this kind of B wave idea. Now, the B wave has extended and extended and extended, and we have justified and justified it and justified it and justified it to the nth degree. And still, we haven't moved to a new high in the Dow. We're still languishing below, continuing that trend line down, and we are continuing a momentum divergence off the lows, and I still am favoring a decline in wave C to complete wave A if we don't already have wave B in place, and we are now about to move into a horrendous long-term decline in a C wave at a larger degree. If I was to go out to the daily chart, this larger degree of C wave has every chance of bringing us down towards the 10,000 level. Never mind breaking that 18,000 lows of March. Anyway, let's get into the hourly chart. What I've been counting this, either we have 5 waves down into the low and we have a 5-3-5 pattern, which is very possible, and it's a simple, well, it's a kind of a convoluted zigzag because you'd have an ending diagonal as the final fifth wave move, so it would be a 5-3-5 up to complete wave 2, and we should expect some sort of a reversal to happen pretty soon. Obviously, I thought the reversal had been in, but this ending diagonal has gone on and gone on and gone on. Do we get another decline next week to begin a third wave down? Boy, wouldn't I love to be able to just put my finger on that. My gut feeling has always been that this will end pretty catastrophically with a supreme acceleration lower. So something akin to what happened in early June to kick off the wave 3 down. And I think we should probably extend what happened in June to take out the June lows in wave 1 of 3. So again, that's where, call me an idiot, but that's where my mind is continuously pointing to. Okay, so let's see if we get that next week. Move on. I uploaded last night, and whatever happened, the gremlins that have been happening all week on the website decided to break the link on the members area. So I was talking last night of this rising channel within wave 5. So wave 5 in red there. This rising channel that I've been tracking on the 4-hour chart here for the last few months. Especially since we got the wave 4 low in, so that was the early June. The rising channel denotes something that is still developing. So I am a little bit hesitant to call wave 5 done just yet, even though I know earlier on in the week I was pointing to the fact that we're coming to the end of wave 5 of 5 now, and that still could possibly be true, but I do feel that wave 5 needs an acceleration, and it doesn't have it yet. And we just seem to be crawling up along this lower trend channel line, and what you would expect would be in a fifth of a fifth, especially of a third wave, a fifth of a fifth of a third, you would expect some sort of rapid acceleration, let's say out above, this is the longer term trend channel on the daily chart. You'd expect a rapid acceleration out above the upper trend channel, especially in a third wave. And in wave 5 of 3, we should easily push out above that. So that would actually put prices up towards the 2000 level possibly even a new all-time high. Well, if it hit 2000, obviously it would be a new all-time high. I know we're closer to a top than a significant low right now, but I don't think we have this this wave, this fifth wave here. I don't think it's complete yet, and by extension, that third wave isn't complete yet. So let's get into the 4-hour chart again. So that there's the rising trend channel in wave 5 in red here. So I would like to see a push up towards that 1950 level, to fill out that channel. If we were to actually take the price extents there, the extent of the move in wave 3, that would push the target up even higher, maybe above 2000. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to stick with the Elliott channel for the moment. Let's get into the short-term chart here and pull apart this fifth wave in green here just to see what I might be talking about. If here you see a channel in surrounding wave 5 green, and that's here. I'm counting this move off the flat correction low earlier on in the week here as a 1-2 pattern, and we're moving higher again early today. So that would suggest that maybe we're moving into a third of a fifth of a fifth. And if that's the case, then maybe we will extend. Maybe we will extend this final rally in wave 5 in red up towards that target level, but that would really still call for quite an acceleration over the next, definitely next week, but over, probably sustained for another couple of weeks before we close out in wave 5 in green. But anyway, that's kind of my thought pattern at the moment. It seems that we are a little bit too weak in terms of the price action to be closing out a large degree third wave and a large degree fifth of a third. So I am tentatively looking for a significant acceleration. If we can rule out this alternate count here in the short term, well then immediate acceleration over the next couple of days. But if we switch this alternate count, it'll take a little bit longer to fill out. So while I do think we are approaching a significant enough top in wave 3 in blue, I am confident enough to say that we're probably a little bit a ways off that yet. And I am looking towards that 1900 level up above, possibly 1950 or maybe even a little bit higher to close out a fifth of a fifth wave. And like I said, it would be more fitting if we were to get a pretty significant acceleration and a breakout above the channel to complete that third wave. Okay, so let's move on. That will sit with me for the next few days and we'll work on that one. Okay, crude oil. The flat line in crude oil is getting a little bit, how would you say, patience or my endurance level is being tried with this latest action in crude oil. The pattern is kind of devoid of any sort of structure, either bullish or bearish at the moment. I'm kind of I'm still holding out on seeing if we can get some sort of if we can get the market to kind of turn its hand and show us what's actually happening. You can see that we're still on the 4-hour chart. We're still kind of ranging within this gap that formed back in early March. So this gap here has kind of trapped the price for the moment. And now maybe we need one more options expiry before we start heading lower again. Maybe there's so much price concentration or contract concentration up around this level. I know some of you guys are far more au fait with that dynamic than I am, but you would actually maybe we have the June or July contracts, would they be ending trading today, or is that next week? I haven't looked at the calendar over the last couple of weeks, but there seems to be some sort of dynamic that is just holding the pattern within that, or holding the price within that band at the moment. You can see that we have completely lost all upside momentum, and we have not had any kind of, let's say, recognition of that in the price yet. So there's been no, there's been no momentum flip yet, as you might have expected. So the action, this is the hourly chart. The action off the high this week has been weak again. I don't think we broke to a new high even yet this week. You could actually still count, even though it's quite a tight, it's a very close call. You could actually still count this as a wave 1 and 2 off the high. And maybe if we get an acceleration lower to start taking out some of these previous lows, the most significant being down at 37. Maybe if we get an acceleration lower, maybe then we start to build into wave 5. But I can't see this kind of this sideways consolidation. I can't see it go on for much longer. We're going to have to get some sort of reaction out of this. Is it in a fifth of a fifth complete wave C? Let's see if that's going to happen. All right. Pretty similar outlook to the stock market, as you'll see here in the S&P. The S&P did hit a new high. It's a new high, but of very little, let's say, associated with it, other than just a drift above resistance and then kind of just holding below it at the moment. Again, we still have that negative divergence off the whole rally, and again, I'm still expecting a C wave down. So last night's action seemed to have been a little bit corrective, or more corrective in nature than anything else. So maybe we get a spike up to this upper trend channel line again, or trend line again. If this is an ending diagonal fifth wave, maybe we get that final touch before heading lower again. We have, in my mind, the 3115 area, so that'd be the kind of the lower extent of this internal left shoulder here. If we push down below the 3115 area again, that should indicate that we're maybe turning into wave 1 down again. So that might be wave 1 of 1 below that. We have the lower wave 2 here at 29.95. So and the most significant one is this previous fourth wave here at 29.36. So there's a long way down before we get any major signal that we're turning into wave C. Maybe we get a punch below that and another significant lower high off that to kind of ride out this euphoric wave as far as it can extend before falling significantly into wave C. So it looks like maybe the summer doldrums will just grip this market for the next few weeks. And if that's the case, and we get a spike lower, that will create that bearish impulse wave to the downside. Okay, let's get into silver. This is a silver 4-hour chart. Yes, we have gone higher, but much like gold, the pattern just has not accelerated like you would expect into a third wave. So there's always the possibility that we break down into a larger second wave, and this is some sort of an expanded flat wave 2, so it's an A, B, C. But I kind of maintain the same thing in gold. As long as we seem to be trending to the upside, as long as that's intact, well, then we will keep with the idea that wave 3 is beginning. Let's say here we have the wave 1 and 2 correction, and the beginning of wave 3. Now, it's not the cleanest action. and that I'll be the first to admit that. A wave 1 up, and then an A, B, C running flat wave 2, and then wave 1, 2, 3, real spike lower in wave 4, and then a continuation higher in wave 5. So that could be wave 3 of 1. And maybe we're working on wave 4 now. So if wave 2 was a running flat, you wouldn't expect wave 4 to you would expect it to be a simpler pattern, and I would expect it to take shorter than this kind of extended wave 2. And maybe we have that already in. I don't know whether this initial decline is wave A, and then an expanded flat wave B is under, or sorry, an expanded flat wave 4 is underway. Seeing as we have a running flat wave 2, I would prefer to see maybe a triangle develop here in a fourth wave. So that would kind of elongate the price action over the next few weeks, or sorry, few days. Maybe we just flatten out, and maybe we become range bound over the next couple of days in wave 4 before accelerating higher in wave 5 again. We'll have to see how that develops. Today's rise doesn't seem to be impulsive in any real way, so this could be a wave A, maybe a wave B developing, and we just kind of grind to the side in wave 4 as a triangle over the next few days. And if that happens, I think then we will see another spike up towards that $20 level at complete wave 1. So that'll be 5 waves up off the low in wave 2, and that'll be wave 1 of 3. And then we'd expect some sort of larger sell-off again then in wave 2 of 3. So it's kind of it's still kind of spinning plates here at the moment. We seem to be, in the metals anyway, we seem to be just not far enough into an impulsive, or sorry, that's the wrong way of putting it. The price action hasn't developed enough into a kind of an impulsive blow off, or an impulsive form even, to call this rally done yet, but we may be consolidating a little bit before we actually do accelerate. And if we do accelerate, then we should get new all-time highs in gold, and we'll probably get some sort of a blow off top here in wave 1 of 3 in silver. The patterns are a little bit just juxtaposed in gold and silver at the moment. Maybe the long-term trend will rise together once we do start, let's say in silver, once we start getting wave 3 of 3 in a few weeks' time. Okay, I think we're done actually. That's the markets counter. I'll have a little look at the world markets at the moment for a minute, let's say. Here's the French market. In France, we still have this corrective grind to the upside in place off a pretty clear 5-wave decline in early June. So the 1-2 pattern in France to the downside is very much preferred and very much still in play. The Aussie 200, we have the exact same 1-2 pattern off a 62% retracement. Let me zoom that out a little bit. We get some chart shift. Okay. So you can see that the retracement just popped above the 62% retracement level, and then we have a series of lower highs off on the Aussie 200 actually, and we had the 5 waves down, 3 waves up. So this 1-2 scenario in the Aussie market is still holding, which would suggest another acceleration lower, or another trend move to the downside yet to begin. Hong Kong is continuously selling off. Actually, sorry, what are we on there with daily? So 4-hour has sold off all week. I still think this is probably a corrective move to the upside. We have filled out that trend channel to the upside, and now we're spilling to the downside again. So this could be a leading diagonal here, wave 1, or it's a series of 1-2 waves. we have, if you watch these swing lows here, so the most significant one would be this B wave low here at 22,4, let's say 22,420, or say 22,400. Before that would confirm the next leg down. Where are we going? Japanese market. It seems to be just grinding to the upside as well. More like the Dow than the S&P. The Nikkei just seems to be kind of drifting within a channel, and we're still holding below that June high there. So again, 5 waves down, some sort of correction to the upside. The German market actually breaking to a new high, so more like the S&P. So we're ending some sort of a pattern here. We're hitting that resistance, that June high resistance. We just popped above it. So let's see, is this an ending diagonal as well, just like in the S&P? And do we break out to the downside again? And we're still holding below those February highs. On the FTSE, this is more akin with the Dow again. Maybe we push up to that upper trend channel line again. Let's say a break of 63.45 again, maybe 63.50, and we hit that. We're probably that coming out 63.80 or something, where we hit that upper trend channel line. We have a solid 5 waves down here, and then corrective action off that. So it does point significantly lower again. Let's get the daily chart. We can see what's actually happened. We had that February decline. Actually, it started earlier, drifting lower for a long time in the FTSE, but the February declines, the market rally off the low, didn't even come up to the 62% retracement level. So before hitting that weakness, so we seem to have a more progressed bearish pattern in the FTSE. So I think, yeah, that's a quick run through. I had a suggestion, maybe I might rehash it again this evening on the introduction, but I had a suggestion that I might keep the nightly updates shorter and try and fit in a few more markets rather than being more verbose. Let's keep it more chart focused and with significant levels, and maybe just a quick blurb on each one. That would be, I'd leave that up to you. If you want me to go that way and include more markets, I'll be willing to put in a few more and keep the comments shorter. But anyway, that was me for the week. Thanks for watching. This has been a long video. Hope you have a great weekend. God's blessings to you all. Hope you have better weather than I have here. It's absolutely tipping down outside. So have a great weekend. I will see you again next weekend for the weekend video, but the nightly updates will probably be paused until Thursday night, and I'm just going to take a break for a few days, seeing as there will be no summer holidays this year. We had all our holiday plans cancelled by the CCP virus, and what's the chances that YouTube flags my video now that I mentioned the CCP virus? Okay, have a great weekend. God bless. Until next week, be good. Bye-bye.